Good morning, everybody, and this is your Dow Jones day trade setups for today. So, a couple of chains of thought that are bouncing around in the market. Lots of varying opinions at the moment. Depends who you focus on and who you listen to. But for me at the moment, we're on the weekly. Just to start off with, we have a weekly crossover here, which is bullish. We have got this trend line. It's pretty well defined, let's just put it that way. So you can see we had a double top here, and we've come back, and every time we've come back onto this trend line we bought. Then are we rejecting that trend line, or are we trying to break through? So for me, it's quite simple. If you start looking at the 8 hour, last week was pretty much a big up, big down. You've seen that. Look at my oscillators. I still have got a crossover of the moving averages. So for me, when you start looking at the lower time frames, you can see we are finding support on this weekly trend line. So ultimately what you're looking to do is to put a horizontal level in, which is pretty much going to be this area right here, which is 34,580. That's our line in the sand right now. So if we start dropping below that, then we're looking for a crossover the moving averages, and we're looking for continuation to the downside. If we start finding our feet here, then we have a trend reversal. So when we look at the 3 hour, you can see there is potential for a head and shoulders, big shoulder, big head, and then you need to rise up and then come back down for the right shoulder to form. But at the moment, look at my oscillators, group to the downside. We are finding some support here at 34,600 area, 34,580, 34,600. So that is still the area we need to pay attention to. Now it starts getting really interesting on the lower time frames. So if you look at the 1 hour, you can see we had this major sell-off. Then Friday we had a bit of a move, and then we had a continuation to the downside before the buyers came in going into the close. The last basically 3 hours, I mean, that's really futures, but the last 3 hours of the session was buyers coming in, or was it just the shorts covering, sort of taking profit on the shorts, not wanting to hold going into the weekend? So at the moment, if you look at the hour, we do have a moving average crossover. We are below the 155. So this is setting up potentially for a trend reversal to the downside, and that's this 1 hour upward trend that we've been in for a couple of days. So that's kind of the view that we have here. So yeah, for me at the moment, it's difficult to actually pick a direction that we're going in. This area that we're in at the moment as well has got some significance. You can see, look at these, there's three, you can count that one as well, 4 playing around with it. We rejected it here. So that's also something we need to pay attention to, which is 34,835. Now, my advice today is pretty simple. Being a Monday, should be pretty quiet, unless there's some major news that comes through, noise should I rather say. But what you're looking for is a crossover of all these moving averages on the 15-minute. You're looking for a break and a retest of some form of structure. And the challenge we have at the moment that there isn't really much structure that is formed. So looking at the 15-minute, this is the area I'd be paying attention to at the moment, is 34,869. Break, retest, find some stability up here. I'm looking for a continuation to the upside. It's also a bit of a trend line break here as well. If we just switch back to the hour, you'll see pretty steep trend line. So there it is there. And you can see break, call that a retest. And now big question is big move up, move down, continuation. One of these oscillators has got diversion between the two lows here as well. And I didn't look at that on the 8 hour. No, there's nothing on the 8 hour. Let's double check on the 3 hour. Nothing really brewing on the 3 hour. But if you look at the 3 hour, this is definitely looking for a move to the upside. So this area that I've given you here, if we reject that area, expect another move down to the bottom. Let's just get to those two scenarios that would play out today. So rejection of this 34,870 area, I would expect another move to the downside. However, inside bar, pin bar, tweezer bottom actually off a level. I'm more favoring a break and retest of 34,896. Then we're looking for a move to the upside. Just be wary of these moving averages when they're in this position. So typically I don't like trading against the trend, and this at the moment could potentially be against the trend if you're trying to go long, because we do have 1 day of sort of moving average crossover. So yeah, get down to the lower time frames, pay very close attention to the lower time frames. If we start finding some support above 34,870, then there's a good opportunity here for get in for a long. You're going to have 133 point stop loss. It'll be below the low of today. Alternatively, what we're looking for is a rejection here again, and then you're looking for an opportunity to be short. But yeah, I'd probably, if you've got the time, drop down to an even lower time frame, a 10-minute or a 5-minute or something like that. And the reason for that is if you look at Friday's data, you can see going nowhere. Then non-farm payrolls came out, and number was pretty good, but basically it just reinforced that the Fed's more than likely going to stick to their interest rate hikes, which is why we had the bit of a sell-off come and test the level. But you can see below the 155 on the 10-minute, you can see we still trend is down. So if you look at the 10-minute now, we're coming up back to that area where we were on Friday, and we did it twice. We rejected off there twice. So I would expect a rejection, to be honest. Just something just telling me we're probably looking for a third leg down, possibly another retest of this 34,580. Either way, just stick to the lower time frames. If we break the structure to the upside and retest, then we're looking for longs. And just look to the left, because your target's going to be pretty well defined. It's going to be pretty much in that area right there, which is 35,021 or 3,500. Failing that, if we start getting below the lows of today at the moment, then you're looking for a continuation down, and you're looking to test this area here at 34,580, 34,570 area. Anyway, that's it for me today. I hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.